Tony D and Little Joan, and this is a screenwriter's rant on three different horror movies. First up is The Devil's Bath. Not sure what this movie's about. All three of these trailers are really tough to figure out. The second one's called An Angry Boy. I'm not quite sure what that one is. And finally, Oddity. All three horror movies. I'm going to try to figure them out. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing, Joan. Check out my books. The links are in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys. Books 1 through 14 available at Amazon.com. What are you doing? Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. All right, I'll put you down. Go get a drink or something. All right. Let's start with the first movie, The Devil's Bath. All right. So it takes place, I'm not sure when, maybe like around the 1700s, 1800s, something like that. And this peasant woman marries this dude, but, and they seem to be in love, but her mother-in-law doesn't like her. And then the village does some strange things that she's not really down with. And I'm not sure if she's possessed and then they have to deal with her, or if the town is doing some wacky, disturbing things and she's trying to figure it out or not do it. At some point, she finds a baby, and the mother-in-law and the husband are like, I don't know about this, and she's like, what? It's a baby. We can't just throw it away. And then, I don't know, there's some leeches in this scene. I can't really, I can't figure this out with you barking behind me, you little idiot. No, we're not doing that right now. So, a lot of it hinges on their relationship. See, this is looks like a bowl of blood, and they're passing it out for people to drink. I don't know if there's a sacrifice going on. And then at some point, it looks like they lock her up. Perhaps because she's going crazy. I think it's one of those movies like, is she going crazy or is... Come here, you little... No. Stay right there. Joan. Either she's going crazy or the village is crazy. Oh, I'm going to pick you up now. Bad dog. Come here, bad dog. Sit with me, and you're not gonna move. So I'm gonna hold you like this, and then you can't get up because you got no leverage. Anyhow, we get the credits here. Written and directed by Veronica Franz and Severin Fiala. It's not in English. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what country it's from. Let's see. See if I can find it in the Austria. It says Austria Film Institute. So it must be from Austria, Joan. Okay. Would I see this? Maybe. I don't know. It's definitely an art house horror movie, I would say. From the director of The Lodge and Goodnight Mommy. I don't know either of those films. But yeah, I can only guess at what the actual plot is. So first act, she marries this dude. They're happy at first. Things are a little rough. And the mother-in-law doesn't like her. Typical newlyweds. Second act, maybe they find the baby, or she starts to notice things about her family or the village that disturb her, and they just keep telling her not to worry about it. But she keeps finding things. I think at one point she unearths a body, and maybe she thinks that was his previous wife or something. And so she's worried she'll be next. Here she's talking to her friend and saying, their new life is coming along, but is it? And then I guess the village kind of turns against her, either because they think she's crazy and she needs some sort of exorcism, or the town is actually setting her up for a sacrifice, and she's trying to get out. She's trying to escape the village. I kind of lean towards the first one, just because I'm not seeing a tremendous amount of evidence of supernatural phenomenon. But kind of tough to parse. Would I see it? Maybe. Let's see. Maybe they'll write up. Austria in the 18th century. Okay. Forests surround the villages. Killing a baby gets a woman sentenced to death. Agnes readies for married life with her beloved, but her mind and heart grow heavy. A gloomy path alone, evil thoughts arising. Yeah, so maybe she's the crazy one. I don't know. But it could be a lot more clear what the hell you're offering here. Alright, next up. An angry boy. I'm not sure who the angry boy is, because it starts out with him saying that someone has to do something, and then you see posters of missing boys, and it's based on true events, and then he hears a noise, and he goes in there, and his mother and him are captured by this psycho with a hammer, who I think torture him. And then it cuts to Eric Roberts and his buddy. It takes a kid up into the woods to camp, but I don't think they're there for camping. And then it seems to turn into some sort of vigilante thing where the main character's going to hunt down these dudes. So maybe he hunts down these dudes, kills them, and that's why he ends up captured with his mom, because eventually they come at him. June 7th on demand. Again, I'm really not sure what's going on here. There's a couple of lines that sort of lean it towards that way. Yeah, these guys are creepy. So, like, this dude, I think what happens is this dude researches some of this stuff, what these guys are doing in the first act. He decides someone needs to do something, so him and his friend go up into, like, the woods, or they follow these creepers. They go up into the woods, and they either kill them or they expose them and they get arrested. But there's another guy who does horrible things. I think you know what it is. And he wasn't in the mix, but somehow he found out these guys targeted his two associates, maybe. And so after they mess with Eric Roberts and the other guy, they then try to go back to their lives, and turns out now they're being stalked. And then he does horrible things to him and his mom. And I'm not sure what happens next. Now, it could be that happens first, and that's what initiates him to going after these guys. In which case, he does, and then maybe gets some amount of revenge? I don't know. Not very clear. Let's see. Okay. Having escaped a sadistic cult as a child, Owen must confront his past and his tormentors enter his new life. As his tormentors enter his new life, this time there's no escaping for anyone. June 7th, so this is already out. I don't know if I saw this on the numbers list. Would I see it? I don't know. Seems to have a lot of awards, but those don't really mean anything. I mean, what is the NYC Horror Festival? But, I mean, it's better than nothing, I guess. I might see it. I like horror. I mean, Eric Roberts is in it. It looks okay, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. Again, not a great trailer. I don't know why people can't produce decent trailers. And finally, Oddity. This one is about a woman, not her, but her sister. So her sister here gets confronted by a man who may or may not be a mental patient with a weird eye. Says, you got to get out of there. Someone's inside with you. She doesn't know who he is, doesn't trust him, doesn't let him in, and then she's mysteriously killed. Her sister tried to figure out why. She's got some sort of psychic abilities, so thus she gets this, I don't know, this weird fake eye. so she could touch it and learn something from, I assume, the now dead man. From the director of Caveat. Joan, you're drooling on me. What are you drooling about? No food up here. So she goes back to visit where her sister was killed, try to figure out why, and then I think she goes with her former brother-in-law. But there's a weird thing in the mix. It's called the Oddity, I think, and the Oddity is this thing. It's like a mummified guy with his mouth open like this, and he's got 3 holes in his head like a bowling ball, and they're storing things in there. I'm not sure what that is supposed to be. Doesn't really. Oh, let's get the credits here. Can't read nothing. Written and directed by Damian McCarthy. Okay, I don't really recognize any of the actors. I mean, the Oddity looks creepy. I don't know if you could see it from that shot, because I know my view box is up in that corner, but it just looks like a kind of like a mummy. Yeah, there we go. I don't know if you can see that either, because I know I'm up on the right there. Kind of looks like a mummy with its mouth open with all the bandages stripped off. I mean, it looks creepy. I don't know how you build the whole movie out of this. First act, sister is killed, or the sister has the confrontation with a strange man, and then later it's revealed she was killed. Sister comes to follow up and figure out what happened. She wants to get closure. Second act, she discovers the creepy mummy, comes to wonder if that had something to do with it, and eventually it comes to life and starts killing people again. And the guy was trying to warn her of this, so he was killed too, probably by this thing, and then eventually she kills it, would be my guess. But it's very confusing. So that's the 3 very confusing horror movies. You got The Devil's Bath, An Angry Boy, and Oddity. Which one would I rate on the bottom? Probably The Devil's Bath, and it's partly because it's subtitled. It's going to be harder to understand. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not down with the whole peasantry thing. For horror, it makes it less relatable. I mean, it doesn't look awful. None of these movies look awful. It's just I wish there was a clearer trailer. Number 2, Oddity, only because on the one hand it looks like a very simple premise, but on the other hand it's like you're not showing me much here. So not really getting a flavor for the plot or the characters. And then at the top, I would put An Angry Boy. That seems, I mean, it's got Eric Roberts in it, so that at least you'll get a good performance out of him. It seems like there's some sort of plan here. I'm not quite tuned into it, but maybe because he's kind of trying to avenge someone, and then, maybe he does. But I don't know. It's hard to parse it. Especially when you got a dog drooling on your arm, Joan. You're literally drooling on my arm. All right, I gotta go. That's it for me, Tony D, and drooly little Joan. Thanks for tuning in today. What a day. Check me out on Friday at Crossroads Comics and Collectibles. Comics and Collectibles, it's called. I called it Comics and Games. It's Comics and Collectibles. That's in Pittman, New Jersey on Friday from 2 to 6. Hope to see you there. We'll see you tomorrow.